Hey everybody, I'm Invisible Katana, and these are my top 6 moments from the Square Enix press conference from E3 2015. Number 6 for me, just to start it off, was Hitman. I thought it was a really cool concept that we're gonna get sort of a, I guess, worldwide Hitman game. I don't know, I'm really curious how this game's gonna kind of even, get distributed, to be totally honest. Um, I'm just curious to see how they play around with this because it's still just a single player Hitman game, but it's not exactly the same sort of Hitman game. Like when it was first announced, I believe it was at the Microsoft conference. It was someone's conference. There's so many they're just blending together right now. But they had that trailer. I thought, okay, well, it's a new Hitman game. But then seeing it this way is kind of like, well, it's very different than here's another game in the franchise where it has a story or anything like that. And it just seems like it's going to be pretty cool, though. I do like the idea of contracts that exist and then they're gone forever. I think that's a cool idea. Um, People just being worldwide, and it's like, okay, you have, the leaderboards and this many kills. This is how you killed this person, but this is how someone else killed this person. If you got to this person first, like if it comes out, you're the first person to get to play it, or first out of 10, or first 10 people, the first one that kills the person ends the contract for everyone else. So, a lot of different ideas that they can do for this game. It has me kind of excited for it. Like I've played a Hitman game, but that was years ago. I think that was when like the second game was out, or the first one possibly. And since then, I haven't played a Hitman game, so that's another reason it's like really low on my list because I'm not um, super huge into the games. But it's really cool. I thought it was a great concept for it. The trailer's interesting because he looked really different. Like even from the last game, it just looked like he actually looked a lot younger to me, which I thought was interesting. And I don't know if that was on purpose or if that's just the design they did. And he just looks a little bit different. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was a nice little concept for Hitman. It was logical even because he assassinates people in the franchise. There of course would be, I mean, there's obviously as many games as there are. There obviously just in an infinite number of people. So I thought that was a great way to make a Hitman game, and it seemed like they could kind of do so much more. Like this, the idea that they have with there being contracts that are there for a limited time, and you kill them and they're gone for good. It kind of made me think like they could do like sort of an open world thing with the game. I'm sure they won't do that, but it would be amazing if they did, where you travel to certain places and stuff like that, and you maybe go to headquarters, wherever it is in any given country. Excuse me, and you can get missions and stuff from there. But I'm sure it won't end up being that way. But the biggest thing I'm curious about is whether or not there's really gonna be a story to it, because it seems like for now at least it's kind of just you get these things. I'm sure there will be a story, but I think that was kind of just their focus because they only announced it a couple days ago. So it's like their focus was really, this is the new thing for Hitman. It's gonna be unlimited contracts. There's gonna be your story contracts, but now sort of a lot of the trials are like theme challenges and things like that, which they did create in the last game, where people can make their own hits and kind of put them out, make your own contracts. So now we're gonna have that to an even wider scale, or maybe we won't have that at all because of the fact that, um, if one comes up and you kill a person, it's gone forever. Maybe they will take that out, or maybe they'll add it in where people can make their own, and then those are gone forever as well. So a lot of different possibilities, and I think it just looked really cool. I thought it was a nice concept for the Hitman franchise. They mentioned like the more skills you have, the more options you get, and things like that. And they showed off mostly sort of the fashion runway thing more than anything else. Where one time he just straight up hit him with an axe, the other time he poisoned him, and then, which I thought was so funny, like he poisoned him and he just instantly turned around like, and I'm done. Like that just would not happen in real life. But I thought it was just funny how they did it for the trailer, and then they had it where like the entire light fixture fell down on him when he was on the catwalk. So it's still Hitman. It has all the varieties and all that crazy stuff, but now it's just a, an insane amount of contracts in general. So I thought that was definitely really cool, and I'm curious to see what they do with this one. I don't know if it's gonna make me get the game because, like I said, I haven't played one since like the first or second game actually came out. But it still got me excited. I still thought it was a really great concept, something they've never done for the franchise, and it just kind of looks pretty cool. So that's why it kind of hits my number six spot. Number five for me is something that is fairly exciting, but we also kind of just got like sort of typical footage and not too much. We did actually get quite a bit, but for me it was just like, oh, it's kind of exciting because I like the franchise. Even though I haven't even played the last game that came out for it because I have it on Steam, I just haven't installed it and played it yet. But my number six is Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. I was really interested in Human Revolution. I eventually got it on Steam. I know it got really good reviews. It's like, great options, stealth options, action options, all the different things. And now we have this sequel, and the story itself, like from what we have, I think sounds pretty cool. I don't really know the full story of the first game just yet, but the sequel sounds pretty cool. It's like the main character's kind of been placed as an outcast, like people who use biotics are outcasts now. So we'll get to see new areas. We had the random villain at the end who had like a crazy giant arm and he was bald and stuff. He kind of made me think of Metal Gear, just his design. But we have like our set villain who we didn't really get to see too much, but he was in there. And just a lot of the different stuff. They mentioned that the blades that he has now can be shot off as projectiles. New weapons. I think the other one was sort of like an electricity type of thing. So it definitely looked cool. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna get it because I have the first game. I know I'm gonna like the first game because that's why I got it, because I was like, this looks really fun. Plus, it got great reviews, so I know I'm gonna like it. So, that's kind of why it hit. It's on my number five spot. Number four is actually Just Cause 3. I have never played Just Cause. I bought, once again, Steam. I have the first two games. I just haven't had the chance to play them yet. I played a demo of Just Cause 2, obviously when the demo first came out, so that will let you know how long ago that was. And still haven't really gotten to experience the full thing for 2. And now 3 is coming out later this year even, so it's like, well, crap, now I have to kind of shoot through that so I can try to get to the third game. But it looked cool. They added in, the wingsuit, which they mentioned, I think, during the announcement when it was first revealed late last year. It was like, there's going to be a wingsuit now. So we got to see that. They showed us the fact that you can grapple things to other things. And my favorite part of the trailer was, of course, he grappled like I think 3 or 4 helicopters together, and they're just flipping around each other because they're all grappled. So I was like, that's just silly and ridiculous. Unlimited C4, by the way, just even crazier. I think there's like unlimited grenades too. I read somewhere else, but that's just so silly. It's like, now you can just do this and do that. Even more destruction, I believe. I don't remember there being like really destructible things in in the demo that I got to play, but they had it where he was destroying the entire bridge, with the clock tower, or like the radio tower. He kind of zip lined that to a building, and when they kind of skipped over it, I don't think it was just pulling it, but it could have been, because they did mention that it has like tension and automatic, or manual triggers, so you can zip 2 things together and then trigger it yourself. So maybe that is what happened. He just triggered it and it broke off of the tower rather than it did the building. So a lot of different little customization options they mentioned there with just the um, grapple gun itself, and then, like I said, the wingsuit, infinite C4 is just silly. They showed off the fact that the parachute is easier to control now, so you can do single-handed weapons and two-handed weapons easier while you're in the sky. So a lot of different stuff, all the typical things of Just Cause 2, just even crazier. We got a little bit of the story as well. He's actually, the main character's returning home, basically. It's his mother's homeland, so they didn't mention like if he actually grew up there, but his mother did. So he's back in his mother's homeland at least, and now there's this crazy dictator trying to take over the world like Cobra Commander or something like that. And it's just gonna be crazy. Just Cause 3. I enjoyed it. I thought it looked cool. Like I said, 3, 4 helicopters, just grappled together, floating around in a circle, exploding. Silly and funny and just fun to watch. So it was just enjoyable to see. Number three is actually something that honestly had the tiniest bit of info, probably the second least info in the entire game, or in the entire conference, and I'd probably say the least info was done on this game. Um, Basically outside of showing it, but it's still my number three because I love the game that it's clearly based off of, and that's Triad Wars, and basically it's multiplayer Sleeping Dogs. Like that's what you could tell. It's Triad Wars. Hopefully it's multiplayer. Based on the way it looked, it seemed like it was multiple people because there were a ton of different characters. So I loved Sleeping Dogs. I was kind of actually thinking about it now. I'm surprised we didn't see anything for Sleeping Dogs 2 since it's officially been announced. There may be something at E3 that was announced. I'm sure like there's some footage on Triad Wars I can look up, but that was all I saw at the press conference, and it was just like, here's the Hitman stuff, Hitman Sniper, which is a totally different game, like an iOS game, I'm assuming. And then he goes to Triad Wars, and I was like, okay, it's obviously Sleeping Dogs. It takes place in the same area. It's in like Hong Kong, and it has all the same. It looks the same, which I don't know if that's really good or bad, but for now at least, it looks basically exactly the same. And it's Triad Wars. I have to assume it's multiplayer. They had like the jumping from one card to the next thing is like the final piece for that one, and then it went to like Final Fantasy. But I want to see more of that. Like it was just there, like I said, kind of in passing. They didn't focus on it or anything like that. It was just like Hitman. Here's this other game, and then here's Final Fantasy. And it was, for me, I didn't know anything about it, and it was just like, holy crap! There's basically multiplayer Sleeping Dogs coming out, and I think I might have to get that because, like I said, I love Sleeping Dogs. If it has the same physical martial arts combat and stuff, of course that's going to be amazing. And then you have it with other actual humans playing with you. It just adds to it. It could be like a massive multiplayer version of Sleeping Dogs because it is Triad Wars. It's not like just little Triad skirmishes. It's a big deal. So I'm excited for that. I have to look up more footage, and hopefully there's a lot more out there. Maybe some gameplay demos of two people playing co-op, or 3 versus 3, 4 versus 4, or whatever, because they're going for like the same stronghold or whatever it is. I want to see more of that, and it, like I said, it was like just skipped right over. Basically, it was just like, here's some footage of it, and that's it. But it landed at my number 3 because of what it's based off of. I love Sleeping Dogs. I love the combat. I love the shooting, the driving, like all the different components of that. I think were pretty well done, and I'd love to see that in multiplayer form. And if it has a story, also very great. And it could be sort of a sequel that's in between, officially in between 1 and 2. So have to find more footage on it, but it was awesome. Like just seeing that, I was like, I have to find out more about this game. So that's why it's my number 3. Number 2, and this might be a huge shock for you guys, is actually Kingdom Hearts 3. It's not my number 1. To put it simply, the only reason it's not number 1 is because it was just another trailer. And honestly, I didn't see anything in the trailer that was like too mind-blowing for me. We got to see these two new boys who are possibly siblings, I don't know. Siblings or friends kind of playing Kingdom Hearts chess, so those pieces looked really cool. So they're talking about this story and this and that. Obviously, the one boy who's like talking about this story and stuff, he seems like the evil one, and the other kid seems good. But they're probably both good, and it's just their demeanors. So we got that. We got to see Sora kind of in his new jacket and stuff, which looked pretty cool. Mickey, Donald, we still got to see some of the new moves. Donald, it's sort of his ram attack when he was fighting against the big herd of Heartless. So that was pretty nice. We got to see more of the guns. We got to see that the guns can combine into each other to make like a bazooka. So that was pretty sweet too. We got to see 2 new, I forgot exactly what they call them. I think they just call them like amusement ride attacks. So we got to see 2 of those. We got to see the teacup, which expands to all 3 characters, and they can kind of get close to each other, and basically it makes like a giant tornado that attacks everyone, which was pretty cool. And the other one, which I loved way more, was Pegasus from Hercules, and Sora was in like the carriage, and Pegasus is like flying around the enemies and lightning striking down and stuff. I love that way more. I was like, oh, it's Pegasus. I'm not like the most, the craziest Hercules fan, but it just looked really great. Like I thought it was like basically neon Pegasus. It was all neon. The whole thing was, and lightning's coming down. It just looked really, really sweet to me. So I definitely loved that. I thought it was really well done. Um, Seeing they mostly showed the same area. It was kind of like that mountain area, and then a little bit of the city, which we got to see in the very first trailer, when it was Sora by himself jumping on like that giant weird trail of Heartless, whatever that was, which we didn't get to see. I kind of wish we got to see a little more of that, and they sort of explained it, or if that was just something they randomly made, just to kind of first show off the game. But it looked really cool. We got to see, they kept showing one Keyblade specifically, so we didn't see the Kingdom Key itself. We saw like one of the new Keyblades that's gonna be in the game, and that was pretty much it. I do wish we got to see like Riku and Kairi. I would have loved to have seen where they are. I didn't get to play Dream Drop Distance because I don't have a 3DS, and for whatever reason they only made that for 3DS, which I hate. So I still don't know exactly how that all played out and where the characters went from there anyway. But I would have loved to have seen them. I think I would have been more excited. It still may not have been my number one. Even if I got to see them, it was definitely cool, which is why it's my number two, and I still think it was pretty awesome. And these two new characters that we got to see, they're obviously important. They're like princes or something like that. One's a prince, and one's probably a friend of the prince or something like that. And there was like an actual Keyblade on the door above the ceiling, so maybe the boy who said he heard the story is like a part of that lineage, and maybe that's why the other boy was talking about it, because he's like the kid who kind of has to be the friend of the prince or something like that. It seemed like it could have that dynamic to it, and he's a little bit more well versed in the world as a whole, and that's why he was talking to him. Like, I wonder what the prince knows and things like that. That's kind of what I was picking up. I was just trying to obviously figure out anything on it, but it looked cool. The graphics, of course, still look really amazing. I love the way the design is gone for this new installment, so it looks cool. The moves are pretty sweet. I can't wait for us to get more of the amusement park rides. We got to see more of Mount Olympus. When he was fighting the boss and going around, we got to see the sort of roller coaster move again. So it was definitely pretty cool. I definitely enjoyed it. I'd like to get more of the story, maybe know who those two characters are, see where Riku and Kairi are, see what their design is. Maybe their designs have changed for this new game. I don't think theirs changed at all throughout the franchise. Maybe Riku's did. I'm pretty his may have changed because I know he has at least a different sword. So his may have changed. Kyrie's, I believe, is still the same as it was. Like, ever since 2, once she grew up, they kind of kept it as, like, the pink jumpsuit, or whatever you'd call that. I wouldn't know. But maybe, her design is a bit different now in 3, and who knows exactly how far apart Dream Drop Distance is from Kingdom Hearts 3. So there's still a ton of questions, still no release date. It, like, specifically said now in development, and that was kind of it. But it was a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3, so it was pretty awesome. And my number one, which was a pretty weird one for me to put over Kingdom Hearts, was the new Nier project. And to be totally honest, I've never played a Nier game. I don't know what they're like or anything whatsoever. But all it had to do was put Nier, and then it was like Platinum Games. And I was like, well, that's number one. Like, that's all it takes for me is Platinum Games. For anyone who doesn't know Platinum Games, they're the ones that made Bayonetta. That's all it takes for me. When it's like, here's Platinum Games, that's it. Platinum Games is Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising, and Wonderful 101. Those 3 games are Platinum Games, and all 3 of those are amazing. I haven't played Wonderful 101, but it definitely looks amazing. I have both Revengeance and Bayonetta. I have Bayonetta 1 and 2. I haven't played 2 yet because I'm doing stuff on the channel for my Let's Play of Bayonetta 1. But I love Bayonetta. It's one of my favorite games ever. And Platinum Games, basically, I love what they did beforehand because the people that kind of started that company, one of them, Shinji Mikami, He's the guy who did Resident Evil. He's the one who made my actual favorite franchise, kind of what it was. So he went from that, doing like crazy horror games and stuff like that, to now they're like the ultimate company for action games, and they're just freaking amazing. So honestly, it was like, I don't know what Nier is. I don't care what it is. It looks cool. The character, she looked really cool. She had a katana. Always epic for me. She had like the anime style white hair going, and that was it. She had a cool design, and it was Platinum Games. I have no idea what else to expect from this game. Like I said, never played a Nier game before. With it being Platinum Games, I have to assume it's sort of just you go in and attack enemies. It's not going to be turn based or anything. But it was honestly just like, it's Platinum Games. It just, that was it. Design was awesome. That was it. It was just, the design was cool, and Platinum Games is involved. You got me. That's one of those actual moments where it's just shut up and take my money type of thing, because you got Platinum Games and they just do great stuff. So that's why I hit my number one. I know that's not even a remotely good reason to have it as number one. Maybe for some of you, if you love Platinum Games like I do, maybe you understand me. But those are my top 6 moments. I definitely want to know your moments. I know I left off like Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider it didn't make it on any of my lists for like top moments for any single conference. It was like, it looks cool, but it just, like, Tomb Raider just didn't get me at all. Like, this entire, like, any footage I saw was like, it looks cool, but it's just Tomb Raider, and it didn't look super spectacular to me. But if Tomb Raider was on your list, I definitely want to know. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts of the press conference, your least favorite parts of the press conference, and of course, thanks for watching.